All right. I'd like to call the meeting of November 19th to order. We will start by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First off, we'll start with, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Meisner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next up on the agenda, we have the superintendent and staff reports. Dr. Lewis.
Thank you so much, Chair. It's my delight to call up Justin Reese, Maya Karsten, and Addie. Help me with Addie's last name. Alishire, to do our fall activities recap. Thank you for being here. And we have a little different setup, so you can sit at the table or stand, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Do you want to just pull a chair? Okay, sounds good.
So I'm just gonna introduce these wonderful student athletes. As you know, for fall sports and activities, they were featured this season. And let's talk about Addison Alshire first. She was voted not only captain of the girls soccer team, but she was also voted first team all-state in the Metro. So that's a huge accomplishment. In addition to, we have Maya Carson here, who she was voted first team all-district as special teams player of the year. And so with that, she was also the first female to win that award. And so she was featured on Mike Mack's sports show. It's a sports rally high school football show every Friday night. And so she had a feature on there that was pretty exciting for her and pretty good experience for both of us to be on. But first we'll start off, I'll let Addison talk about fall sports, followed by Maya to talk about fall activities.
Alrighty, hi guys, I'm Addie. So for girls soccer, this was the first year that we had 2 full teams, so that was pretty exciting. Getting my award was also a really big honor. I feel like I worked really hard for that. Volleyball, they had 3 teams this year. Their highlight was that they had a better record than they did last year. Girls swim and dive, they had 4 relay teams place and 2 individuals place in sections. Girls tennis, they had 14 athletes and they won their first round of sections. And cross country also had their Peach Run grow, and they had more schools involved than they did last year. We had adapted soccer, and they had their first all-conference player. He's in 7th grade, so that was pretty exciting. Sideline cheer, they got to cheer at the U of M this year and be at one of the games. And then for our boys team, boys soccer team, they had 2 full teams as well. They were section champions. They made it to the state quarterfinals, and their coach was section coach of the year. And then for football, we had 60 athletes that participated, as well as 3 district players of the year, one of them being Maya and her special teams award.
That's sports, yeah.
So for fall activities recap, we had a lot going on throughout the school year, just in the fall so far. Key Club has been moving. They had a little book drive, and they worked with the Middle Schoolers Builders Club a lot. They also participated in fall rally, and have been doing a lot of random acts of kindness around the school. At the beginning of the school year, right before the school year, the activities department took a bunch of captains on sports teams to the Tri-Metro Fall Leadership Forum. We came up with the 3 P's of a leader, with patience, presence, and positivity, just not in sports, but just in every aspect of life. And we learned a lot there for sports and what to bring back to Fridley. Student council put on a pretty good powder puff game. I was on the losing team, but that's okay. It was still fun, and we had a lot of girls participate, which was really, really good. And senior sunrise was also a really good outcome during homecoming week. We had a lot of seniors come out, and we've really just bonded over these past couple months as the senior crew. For band-wise, the marching band marched in the state fair at the end of August, which was pretty cool. The marching band is the high school and the middle school, so we had a pretty fun time with all of them. They also got to do a little field show with the cheerleaders during homecoming on the homecoming game, which was pretty cool. And then there was a couple people nominated to be part of the St. Olaf Honors Band. I was one of them, along with Ethan Conseco-Vogt and Harper Helmer. We got to spend the day a couple of Saturdays ago up at St. Olaf with a bunch of other honors band from around the state and just learn a lot from the directors there. So that was pretty fun. Urinetown is going on right now. Opening weekend was really, really good. It was a really good outcome. If you haven't come and saw it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week at 7 o'clock. I play in the pit, so it's really, really good. The music's good. All the actors are great, and it's really, really funny. So if you like comedy, you should come out. And then MHS also put on their blood drive this past Friday. We had a bunch of students and adults participate in it, and we had a really good outcome from that. And that is activities for fall. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we are thrilled to have our very own student school board rep, Ayanna. She and Lori went a couple weeks ago to the convention, and one of the things that Lori just said to me as we were walking in, she said one of the things at the board development event that they said is don't put students on the corners. So now you'll see we have repositioned our student school board reps. So with that, we are ready when you are to share with us about your ideas, your thinking, and your learning.
Okay. Hi guys. A few weeks ago, I was able to meet up with a few other student school board members, and we were able to talk about what's going good on the school board and what can be fixed, and a few things that I personally saw from my personal experience was that there are a lot of barriers between the board members and like the student board members, because when you come into the job, we weren't really given enough information. We had a lot of assumed expectations, and we're not really given a real job, and I think that could be fixed because we come into the job blind and we expect to have all these different things to do, and we're not really a big contribution to the board. But what I did see, what we're already doing good at is having prep meetings with Brenda on Mondays and stuff, and getting different opportunities outside of the board that I've personally been able to do. Yeah. And then what we could do that I saw that could make a difference is like now probably me and Decca doing a student report and getting to report on the things that we see in the high school and potentially like the middle school and the elementary schools. If we could get involved with the middle schools and elementary schools, go visit them, go talk to the students there and see like what they're thinking. And also having open Google Forms where students at all the schools could just go in and put any concerns and questions that they have, and we could look at it and we could talk about it. And when new student school board members come in, the present ones, we could train them into what they could do and how we could like get them to be where we want them to be. So yeah, and pictures. The food there was really good.
Thank you so much for those ideas. Board, what I would ask is I would love for board members to work alongside our student school board reps with or without me, we can decide what that looks like. But as Ayanna said, just as you all have individual prep meetings with me, so do our student school board reps. So I would like, if you're interested in serving in that role, and I'm not sure what I really mean by that role, but just how do we build out the robustness of our student school board reps? I think, last year we took our first step and we have reps on our board, and now how do we really maximize the expertise that they bring, the voice that they bring? How do we really do that? So if you're interested in doing that, can you just email that to me and Cece and Lori, and then we'll figure out what that looks like, and we can have more than one too as well to work on that. So I'm just really proud of the work that you're doing, the service that you bring. As you know, I'm biased, so I like that we have 2-year terms staggered for that, and I just think there's really good work. One of the pieces I would like to charge this same group on is to bring forward a proposal to our board on stipend. So Richfield Public Schools does a stipend for student school board reps, and I believe some other districts do, but I know with confidence that Richfield does. So I'd like us to look at something like that as well. So I'm going to pause mid superintendent update here if board has any comments with respect to our student school board rep.
I know that I am very thankful to have your knowledge and expertise, and we do highly value the perspective that you bring and your role here, and we do really want to elevate what you have to say. You are the user of our district's product, and so we highly value what you bring to this. So thank you so much for your willingness to go. Thank you, Lori, for being willing to go with her. And also, I'm just so excited to see what your thoughts are on how we can grow this and really make this a role that is super valuable to the team. Thank you. Yeah.
And I heard that you thought Shakopee High School was about the same layout and similar to Fridley High School, huh?
Oh, of course.
They had to put it at like a Mecca high school. Lori's texting me the whole time, and I'm like, great. She's like, they have this, and they have that, and they have this, and every wing, and I'm like, well, we're getting to single-use bathrooms. We've got that. So anyway, but it was great to hear from you. Thank you, Ayanna, for going and doing that. All right, it is now my pleasure and delight to ask our Fridley Middle School admin team to come up, Dr. Cochran and Mr. Engelhardt, to really share about our continued work with support from the Lavinia Group. Good to see you both.
Thank you for having us. See if I know how to remember how to work the little clicker tonight. Well, we are really excited to be here tonight to share our focus this school year as a continuation of the work that we were doing last school year, really with an intense focus on our math and our literacy work this year. And that work is really being supported, as Dr. Lewis said, is through our partnership with the Lavinia Group. So we're excited to share the work that we maybe have been doing with them. So really, first and foremost, our work has been really grounded in our goals. I'm going to talk about math first. And our math goal for this year, our big overarching math goal for our whole building, is that we will see a 10% growth in the number of our students that are scoring proficient on the spring MCA. So we're really working on looking at that academic achievement data and really how we're going to move at least 10% of our students into proficiency. And really that work then, like, how is that going to be done? And so the work that we're doing is really around the instruction that's happening in the classroom. And so we have an instructional goal that's specifically for our math teachers, and that we really want our math teachers to think about the strategies they're using, the instruction that they're using in the classrooms, how are they using data really differently than they have before to really guide their instruction. And so that involves things like their benchmark assessments, looking at diagnostic data, really using that formative assessment that happens every day in the classroom to determine what their instruction looks like for the following day. And so we have a really targeted goal around what that instruction looks like in the classroom. And it, like, the plan is written specifically that we have specific plans that target like reteaching and response plans to students so that we are ensure that we're bringing all students along. And so that work is all being supported through our partnership with the Lavinia Group. And so our Lavinia coach comes on site with us at least 2 times a month throughout the entire school year. So she's been here multiple times already this school year. And the work is really for math. There's kind of twofold. So one side of it is really all about like the strategic programming. And so we're spending a lot of time with both the middle school and the high school administration and IB coordinators together, really looking at what does our math program look like from 5th grade through 12th grade? Like, what is that pathway for students? How do we ensure students have options and that we are really setting students up to be successful? So we're spending a lot of time looking at that programming. We're really diving into the curriculum, and so we will be coming up on a curriculum review process within the next year, and so really want to dive into, is the curriculum we're using working, what's not working, is there other curriculum that we think would be better suited for our students? And then also looking at just the schedule in general. In 7th and 8th grade, our students have a double blocked math class, which has been very historical here. And so really, is that meeting the needs of our students? How are we ensuring that students have opportunity for either intervention or acceleration, and that we're really meeting the needs of our students? So that strategic program is happening kind of on the side, where we're really digging into that with our partnership with Lavinia. The other side of that comes directly to the classroom, and so it's really about developing that leader, which is us. And so Matt and I and our IB coordinator, we really spend a lot of time with the coach, really, again, working on our leadership development within our math program, as well as then developing teacher capacity. And we're really focusing on, again, the way that we're teaching math, and really wanting students and teachers to think about it from like a conceptual standpoint. So it's not about like rote memorization or like the tricks within math, but really understanding like, why do we do math moves like this? Why do negative numbers add up to be a certain thing? Like, what is the really like conceptual basis behind that? And that's just a really different way of teaching than one, what some of our teachers are used to, and then two, the way that many of us experienced math. And so it's really like a lot of new learning that's happening. That support is coming in a couple different ways. So intellectual preparation is essentially like how teachers prepare their lessons. So how do they use data to prepare their lessons each day? Looking at student work, again, that student work study and data analysis is really looking at like formative assessments. How do we decide like where students are at, and then how do we really target that instruction each day so that that's happening consistently? And then this rapid improvement cycle really consists of our coach, when she's on site, she goes in classrooms and she actually will teach the class. We will invite teachers in. The teachers will come in and watch her teach the class. And then there's a debriefing cycle that happens after that, where they're really talking about the teacher moves, what were the instructional strategies that the coach used, and then they plan a lesson for the following day, and then the coach will come in and watch the teachers teach that exact lesson, and then be able to give really like on-the-spot feedback, so that there's this really continuous improvement process that's happening over time. And so right now our consultant, like I said, is here at least 2 days a week, 2 days a month, throughout the rest of the school year. So there's a lot of contact time when this continuous over time. There's just some pictures of math in action and some of the things that we've really been working on. As I mentioned, one of the things we're really working on right now is using formative assessments to kind of guide our instruction, and with that comes small group teaching. So within their core block, so within the core block of math, that every student is really getting what they need, and that comes with teachers using that data to decide like this group of students might need additional support with this concept, and so then they will spend time really focusing on that group of students, and then the other group of students, if they're understanding the content, might have acceleration work or something else that they're doing to really make sure that every student is getting what they need in the classroom.
Cool. First and foremost, hi everyone. Thanks for having us. I am going to dive into what our literacy goals are this year, but also just kind of some of the changes that have been happening across our building. Really exciting changes. I will echo some of what Dr. Cochran said, but also kind of talk about some slight variations within our goals. If you notice on the top bullet point there, it is almost exactly mirroring what our school improvement plan goal is for math. So again, 10+% growth in the number of students scoring proficient on the spring reading MCA assessment. That is like school-wide, it mirrors almost exactly what we're doing for math. The bottom goal is where we see a little bit more of the differentiation. The big word there in the bottom, because it is a little wordy, but the big word there is implement. And implements is something that we will focus on a lot, because implementation comes with some changes. We know that there are really two large changes that have happened in our building. The first is the READ Act. Governor Walz in 2023 passed the READ Act, which is focused on getting all students in the state, K-12, at or above grade level reading levels. So that is the first one. With that increased focus across our state, we have a large majority of our teachers involved in something called letters training. Letters training, the very, very basic explanation of it is really like the science of reading. Our teachers are looking into and doing a ton of work on this, but looking into the science of reading, and then looking really into, with that scientific background, what tools can they put in their own teaching toolkit to take what they learned from the science of reading and implement it within their classroom. So that is the first big change within our school. The second one is adoption of a new curriculum for our Lang and Lit teachers. It is called Wit and Wisdom. And that is really where Lavinia has come into play a ton within our classrooms. That's where Lavinia has really, really supported in our classrooms. Our teachers are going through this process and really learning it. But with those two large changes, as we all know, change is hard, and change is something that we are all learning, including myself and Dr. Cochran. It's actually been really exciting for me to dive into this work, as well as Dr. Cochran, because we are learning a ton as we go as well. With Lavinia and the literacy partnership, we have one real overarching purpose, and that is to strengthen outcomes for our students. I think that is really at the heart of what we do every single day in our building. But similar to what's happening within math, we have Lavinia coaches who are coming in, and they are really working on how to implement the new curriculum. They are coaching our teachers with the intellectual preparation. They are doing meetings prior to coming into the classroom, talking about it. We've had a lot of really beautiful open forums with our teachers and our coach, with just saying, like, here's what I need help with, here's what I need support with, here's what I'm not grasping, and here are the things that we're doing really well. Our coaches then coming into the classroom, and similar to what's happening in our math classrooms, they are modeling lessons. So they are the ones up in front of our students and modeling lessons and showing really how the new curriculum should be implemented. They are then watching our teachers teach lessons straight from the curriculum, and I think the big difference is they are like coaching in the moment, right? So they are watching our teachers implement new curriculum, but then pulling them aside and saying, hey, that was really cool, right? I saw this thing, we were in an observation the other day, and our teachers are learning this, and they're all like, oh, I want to be so great at this, right? They all want to be amazing at it. And as the coach was walking out of the room, they said, you did so well. And you see the teacher like, take this breath. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm doing really well. And so the coaching component of it has just been so vital to what we're doing in our building. They also do follow-up meetings after they go into the classroom to continue with that coaching. Couple pictures up here. Two things to really note. First and foremost, the two pictures on the right. Obviously, we have to highlight our amazing kids in there. This is obviously what our classrooms look like every single day, with all of the kids in the classrooms, in the desks, and learning. We do have the best kids. The second component, based on our students, is making sure that we highlight their work. Making sure that, if you notice in the upper left corner there, all of that is highlights of students' work. It is visual to all of them. They are making connections not only with their learning, but also with each other. Because we know, as we are diving into new curriculum and new learning, the best way that we can learn as students is to make sure that that is meaningful to all of us. And so part of what you will see, a big change in all of our classrooms, is when you go into the classrooms, student work is
like showcased everywhere on the walls. We have teachers saying, I need bigger classrooms because we need more wall space to put up student work. So it's been really, really awesome. The Lavinia component of it has been absolutely vital to the 2 large changes that we have in our building right now.
All right, the last thing we would like to share is just super exciting. We just launched Learning Academy for Math and Reading this week. It started yesterday, and so those of you that have been around know that we've always had Learning Academy, but so you're like, how is this different? We are super excited. In September, I was here and shared with you our Summer Rise results that came directly out of our work with Lavinia, and so we're really excited to know that they also have an after-school program, and so it's mirroring similar to Summer Rise. However, it spans over the course of the whole school year. So started yesterday and will go all the way through May. Students will receive math 2 days a week, and they can receive literacy 2 days a week. We have 70 students that started yesterday, which is super exciting. I would say majority of the students are actually taking part in both programs. There are a handful of students that have picked either math or literacy, which is fine too, but majority of the students have chosen to do both. So again, they will be joining us Monday through Thursday, all the way through May. Essentially with the math program, and again, similar to Summer Rise, which I know that we kind of talked about before, but it's a very prescribed curriculum. It is grade level content, which we know is so extremely important for our students to be able to make sure that they're really meeting grade level standards and that they have access to grade level content. So with math, it really focuses on helping develop that math confidence to really help students become better problem solvers and getting that grade level content. And then within literacy, same thing, really explicit instruction around critical reading, really to help students fall in love with reading, really teaching those foundational skills, again, to really build strong readers. And so we are excited and telling parents we will still take students if they want to join us. But we're really excited to be able to see the results at the end of the school year and how this really pays off for our students.
How many students are currently expected to participate? Oh, questions.
Oh yeah, 70 students right now are enrolled. Yep, we have 70 students, and so we have 1 math and 1 reading per grade level right now. So we have it 5-8. We opened it up to all students, but we also asked teachers to.
It's not me.
Sorry. We also asked teachers to recommend students if they thought students that would benefit from it, but we also opened it up to all students. So any students that would like to join us, then that's similar to how we ran Summer Rise, where we just anyone that would like to join us.
Any other questions?
Open it up to the board.
No? Awesome.
I'll just make a comment. I'm super optimistic about that. I mean, the extra lessons and just the contact time, we all know that can make a direct impact. I'm super excited.
Yeah, we're really excited too to be able to track the data and see the results. We know in 5 weeks we had phenomenal results, and so to know that it's going to span over the course of the whole school year to see the
How
results.
often will you kind of check on your results? Will it be like a weekly, monthly? Are you going to wait till the spring for the grand reveal?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. That's a great question. I'm gonna have to ask that,
Okay.
specifically. Again, we're working with
Yeah.
our partnership with Lavinia. So, with Summer Rise, if you guys probably remember that there was a pre-test and a post-test,
Yep.
and so it was a really easy way for us to track the data.
Beginning
We're
and
also what we are hoping to be able to do with this also is to look at our students that are in our Learning Academy program and then watch their MCA scores, because again, as we know, our big overarching building goals are to move that 10%, and so to be able to see the kids that were in Learning Academy, what happened with their scores on the MCAs, and to see
Sure.
if that really helps us make that move, and that data.
Awesome. Exciting stuff.
Thank you guys.
Thank
for
you.
having us.
I wanted to say, A.D. Reese, you don't have to stay. Okay. I was feeling so bad, you don't, but you are welcome to stay. I'm not kicking you out, but thanks, team. All right. Next up, Stephen is going to share with us about some fun happenings that many of us were at, and those of us that weren't can hear about from this fall over at FCC. Or I guess right here.
Yes,
at FCC.
yes. All 3 events were here at the community center. Hello, school board chair, Superintendent Lunas. Thank you for having me up to the podium. So we had our fall festival on November 8th, 9th. I can't remember the exact 9th. It was the 9th. And it was a fun event. We really expanded what we were doing with the fall festival this year. We moved it into the classrooms as well and I was helping out calling some bingo, shape bingo. And then we just had a bouncy house and some fun things happening. And it was really well attended, and overwhelmingly people were just having a good time, a lot of smiles. Really want to say thank you to our Avid student volunteers, our Hey Girl volunteers, all the folks that made it happen. We had some other parent volunteers from our advisory council, and some school board members are also there helping out. So thank you for coming out and really supporting the community. And we have a lot of good feedback to continue to build off of what we offered this year. So a lot of fun, a lot of joy. And then the next one, this was also a very fun night. We had our Tiger Club family night, is one that we do every fall. And we had some really great attendance. The majority of our families were at this event. We had a nice spaghetti dinner for everyone. So food can often bring the gathering together. And then we had a fun craft event. And then we had one that I was a little nervous about, but it went just fine. We had an open mic during dinner where people could tell some jokes. It was just a lot of silly stuff, but it was fine. And then I got to help serve. I was serving the salad, so that was a big hit, actually, which is surprising to me, but hey. And then the last one was our IB preschool night. And as you can see from the photos, another very well-attended event. And my only feedback to myself is maybe let's not do all three in the same week next year. But hey, the benefit is like we got them all done too. So and really great attendance on all of them, and just a lot of fun with the family. So it was a lot to build off of, but also just really a joyful time with our family. So thank you for listening.
Awesome.
Stephen, do you mind just updating us on how we changed the registration fee for the Early Childhood Fall Festival?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I missed that.
That's okay.
So typically in the past, well, first of all, it was just called the ECFE, so very like early childhood family education focus, but then we expanded it out to just basically all families that are here at the community center or not, quite frankly. And then we had a $5 registration fee that we had typically charged, but we did not do that this year. And that's in large part due to, well, we did get some funding from the Lions Club generously donated to us. And then also just, it's a shift in how we think about things, like why are we charging for an event that we want everybody to come to. So it was a good shift and something that we will continue moving forward. So thank you for that reminder.
Great work. Any
Thanks,
questions for Stephen? Okay.
Did we notice a kind of an increase in participation, taking away that fee?
Numbers, I think numbers were much better. I'd have to look at the actual data because we did do some registration year over year, but like I think it was harder to track in the gym itself because we had also spread out our activities, which is, it felt last year it was real busy in the gym, but then we spread everybody out.
It was way busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We volunteered last year. This was definitely an increase.
Awesome.
I looked around like, whoa,
Yeah.
That's good news then.
a lot of people here today.
Yeah. So it's very good. I think what we're looking to do next year is also just build out the resources that we have available at the actual event, and just make sure that we can be a full service spot too for whatever needs folks are bringing our way as well. So good question.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Anybody else? No? Okay.
Okay, thanks,
released.
Stephen. Next, I was looking at this. Lori said to me today, your slide's ready for the conferences. And then I see mine compared to, there's no leaves and no beautiful pictures. So this is the stripped down version and why she does the design content here versus mine. Anyway, we'll call this minimalist. So I had the absolute honor to be asked to speak at two events the high impact tutoring panel in October in New York. So our high impact tutoring that we do in Fridley and then also in other systems I've been in has really shown, research based, exactly the impact that it has. And this is one of those interventions. I personally consider this within intervention Tier 3. It's typically 1-to-1, 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, approximately 9 weeks, give or take there a little bit, pretty intensive, and the results speak for themselves. Again, it's what we talked about earlier about fidelity. So I was asked to come and share actually with Latera staff about what's working well for school districts. There was several of us, I was the only superintendent, asked what's working well for school systems and what are the pieces that we need to be more responsive on. So I was able to really share that, and it was also good to hear from other school system, large, small. I was the only one from the Midwest, so people were letting me know that I have a very Minnesotan accent, which is funny because when I was in North Dakota, I could really hear the accent there, so it was funny to have that. But it was just such an honor to do that. And then the National Summer Learning Summit, that was last week, where I went to DC and was part of sharing about our story around Summer Rise and the work that we've seen with that, and also the work in Grand Forks, and that work started in Montgomery County Public Schools. And what this does is I get to hear best practices, like Newark, New Jersey was one of the panels. Baltimore City Public Schools was with me. And then New York City Charter Network. So just hearing from those experts in their field, and it's so interesting because most of the time it's the same struggles that we're all having, and how do we solve it differently. What this also brings our district is we then get to form what are things that districts need in real time. And then it also provides, like, it was really interesting when it was question and answer time, this individual said, Fridley Soup, I need your help. Are you funding that out of ALC dollars? And I looked at him and he said, Burnsville, Egan Savage. I said, I thought you were from Minnesota. So then I was able to share how we use that with, it's the technical funding is ALC. It's really targeted services, which is how we fund that. So able to talk about that. The other pieces here too is that they really want to showcase districts that have that success. And then what happens is other places want to say, hey, we're seeing the work that you're doing with Lavinia, we can complement that, and also it results in pretty significant price changes for the district as well. So we're able to do that. Just from a business side of things, the high impact tutoring panel, they are reimbursing the district directly. And then the National Summer Learning Summit, I will be receiving a $1,000 honorarium, but that'll come to the district. I was going to buy the tablecloths with that, but we're going to use that to reimburse on the travel expenses. So the board is having to buy their own tablecloths. But anyway, so it's just quite an honor to be able to bring that work forward. And another piece too is I had someone come up after the National Summer Learning Summit and say, it's nice to hear a district similar to ours with racial and ethnic demographics and economically disadvantaged demographics that's getting results. And so that's really good. So I'm just very honored to always elevate the work that we do here. And I love the discounts that they give our district. Next, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce our new senior officer of HR, Boo. Boo is going to be starting with us December 16th. I want to pull up and read you her credentials here. The week of December 16th. Boo has over 3 decades of HR experience. Boo has a robust background across charter schools, small and large school districts, including her most recent roles as HR director at Osseo Area Schools and assistant director of workforce planning and work design at St. Paul Public. Her expertise spans on performance management, employee relations, coaching leaders, compliance, and workforce workforce development. Boo thrives on creating effective processes and procedures that streamline HR functions and enhance organizational efficiency. She holds an undergrad degree in HR from Concordia in St. Paul and a project management professional certification from the U of M. Known for building lasting relationships, Boo is excited to bring her strategic vision to Fridley. Outside of her professional life, she enjoys hosting and spending time with family and friends at her cabin. Please join us in warmly welcoming Boo to Fridley Public Schools. So we're so excited. Pending board approval, then we will push this announcement out. And then we also, maybe I'm going to get in trouble from the HR team for saying this, but we've filled our HR generalist position as well, pending board approval. So we're so excited about that. And the HR generalist will either start December 9th or December 16th. So we're really excited. As an aside, Harold, Justin, and I all have worked with Boo when she was in St. Paul Public. So we're just so excited to have her choosing to come to Fridley. Okay. Next up is Rochelle, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rochelle's going to give us some custodial updates.
Yeah. Good evening, board members. I'm really excited to be here to give you a custodial update tonight. I wanted to just touch on a few of the things we've been working on this year as both Heidi Segovia Pope, our manager, and I have been on board. First off, training. So we had our first opening workshop with what I'm calling the operations crew. So our custodians and our nutritional services. We had a workshop on identity, getting to know each other, and appreciating each other's cultural backgrounds. And we also talked about how we as a team are responsible to ensure the safety of our staff as we enter into the winter weather and slips and falls and all those things. On September 30th, we had another PD on equipment training. So some of the equipment that we have to make sure that everyone knows how to use it appropriately. We also talked about efficiency and time management, which are two really important things for our custodial staff. We are also working on standardizing training across the job categories. So making sure that people have good training. They know we know what everyone needs to know. And so we'll be working on that throughout the school year. Really exciting news. We got new vacuums for each school. Really important. We really have been talking to our custodial staff about taking care of equipment because that makes it last as long as possible. These vacuums are more efficient. They have a lower noise factor, which is great, as well as HEPA filters for allergens to reduce those in our classrooms. We are also looking at implementing a new microfiber cleaning process, and I think we have a visual for this. So microfiber cleaning is one that's often used in hospitals, and school districts are starting to use them throughout the United States. It really is using a color system so that we have, for each area of cleaning, we have tools that we use, and then we have colors that we use, and we keep those separated for each of the areas that we're cleaning. So you can see here an example of the different types of mops and cloths, where they're being used, and how we're preparing our cart seats, Jay, so that we have the right tools in our toolbox for cleaning our schools. We will be, right now we're cleaning out all the custodial closets. So that's been interesting. So we've been cleaning those out, and we're putting in all new chemical dispensers. So those will be in place so that we make sure that our chemicals are dispensed in a clean and safe way. So this will all be in place by the beginning of next year. And we'll also be looking into having washers and dryers so that we have appropriate cleaning of all these different supplies as we go. Wanted to just highlight that we do have a new contract in place for our custodial staff. Increased compensation, increased 403Bs, another holiday. So we feel really good about that as we move into a partnership for 2 years. And then finally, snow removal contract. We have a new agency this year that we'll be working with. They will provide services both at night and also during the day if we have a significant snowfall. They will also do our wide sidewalks, which allows our custodial staff to really concentrate on our smaller sidewalks, which in districts that I've been in sometimes don't get done. So it's really important that we had that in place as we move. So really excited to get feedback back about that as we look at that new contract moving forward. Thank you.
One of the areas that Rochelle and Heidi have really elevated is we haven't had professional learning opportunities to this level for our custodial team. So Rochelle and Heidi have really prioritized that, as you can see, which results in cleaner buildings, efficiencies, less injuries, etc. Rochelle, how many custodial vacancies do we have?
Right now, we just have one, and that's just because we haven't had time to fill it yet. So we have a waiting list of people who want to join us, which I'm really excited about.
We are so thrilled about that. So great work, Rochelle. Thank you. All right, and our last item here is we did it. So we did this on an election year. We did it with 50% of districts didn't do it, right? And so, as we know, we pour our souls into this work. And it manifests from all of the teachers and staff, the community members, the board members. It's a really odd experience because the superintendent has to be iced out, right? And all of us, I think, have had an experience where you're with me, maybe casually, at a football meeting or something, and you'll say something like, we had such a great turnout when we were doing door knocking and all these positive things, and do you think it's going to pass, Brenda? And I say, I think the district is doing a great job of pushing out the facts. And so it's just been an incredible journey for us. We did 2 questions. I couldn't be more proud, and I think our community believes in us. Chair, can you rescue me? Do you have a few comments?
For one, I want to thank the board for all the work that we all did collectively. The one thing that I noticed this year is the amount of information, Brenda, that you put out that was factual, that was at times vulnerable, but honest. I think had a huge impact on the fact that it passed. That was great. Also like to thank our staff. They absolutely killed it. Our partners with the teachers union and the paras, I mean, they were at my house every other weekend, it seemed like, door knocking, phone banking. They opened up their homes to phone banking and door knocking. We absolutely 100% could not have done it without our staff, and publicly thank you all very much for that.
I also want to elevate the work that Lori did. She was constantly posting things. Our community was very responsive on social media. Sometimes that hurt our feelings a little bit, but it helped us with how to really target messaging. Also, the Donovan group, Tracy Jentz was just a phenomenal partner in the work. And then, how many referendum meetings did we do together? Rochelle and Lori? More than we know, right? But I think it was just wonderful. And without naming names here, I'm going to say we saw some districts that are guaranteed referendum passes fail them this year. And so I'm really proud of the work that everyone did. A chair named the folks that really helped. And I think, we said it from the beginning. It's really hard to predict referendums post-COVID, and Fridley needed the money. We needed it. We couldn't wait a year, so I'm just really proud. And we really saw our community transform. Chair, you talked about this, particularly around open enrollment. We talked about at first how I'm really concerned that my money goes to fund students who don't reside in the district to, I can get behind that. I understand that. And so I think it's just a true testament to our community believes us, they want to partner, they support us, and the statistics were not necessarily in favor of districts passing referendum this year. So I'm just really proud of us. More to come. Of course, next month is levy setting, and then work around the $30 million of bonds that we have. Lori is putting in the superintendent's update this week. Blaine Fridley Spring Lake Park Life. Is that okay? Got that right. They did a really nice story on our referendum passing. So just really excited. And my mom always told me sometimes when your voice shakes, Brenda, it's because you're showing love. So thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for you tonight in the robust superintendent update. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Lewis. So next up we have business action items. Just one, I think. Looks like the resolution for accepting gifts. Looks like we have a couple gifts to early childhood education. Hy-Vee donated a meat bundle gift card for the Fall Festival, and Target donated a $75 gift card also to the Fall Festival. I would entertain a motion to accept these gifts.
So moved.
Motion by Anna. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Keeler. This is a roll call vote. Miss Anna?
Aye.
Miss Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Conoper's aye. Mr. Keeler?
Aye.
Mr. Meisner?
Aye.
Miss Stark?
Aye.
Miss Shobi?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have, I guess there's two action items. The approval of the 2025-2006 school year calendar. Again, I would entertain a motion to approve the calendar for next school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Meisner. Do I have a second? By Anna. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we have the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the business meeting held on October 22nd and the special board meeting held on November 15th. Our financial reports, new contracts, amendments, leaves of absence, resignations, and terminations. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Keeler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jones. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we have some important dates. The fall musical at the high school, Year in Town, is currently going on, but the other dates are November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, 7 o'clock at the district auditorium. Of course, we have no school for Thanksgiving break on November 28th and 29th. Hayes is having their Better Together meeting scheduled for December 2nd at 5 p.m. at Hayes Elementary. We have some Fridley High School conferences December 4th from 4 to 8 here across the street at Fridley High School. Stevenson has their 4th grade concert December 5th at 5:30 at the district auditorium. Also at the district auditorium on December 6th at 7 o'clock, we have the free family movie night featuring Ultraman Rising. The Fridley Middle School Holiday Band concert and choir will be at the district auditorium on December 10th at 7 o'clock. Stevenson has a PTO meeting December 11th at 5 o'clock at Stevenson. Fridley Middle School Family Bingo, doing that again on December 12th at 5 p.m. Fridley Middle School. And then lastly, our next Fridley Public Schools School Board meeting will be at December 17th. Here at the Community Center, 5:30 work session, 7 o'clock Truth and Taxation, and our 7:30 business meeting. With that, unless anyone has anything else to add to our important dates? Nope. All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Keeler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, and we are adjourned at 8:25. Thank you very much, everybody.